It was pitched as one of the greatest survival stories on television.
Challenging summer of their lives.
What is he doing?
Get out of here! Go!
It's supposed to be a rural, hard-to-reach spot in the already sparsely populated state.
A wild family clawing their way through the Alaskan frontier.
Gabe immediately start to prepare. They outfit themselves with camo face paint made from mud, leaves, and moss to blend in with the landscape.
Surviving off the land and thriving outside the reaches of civilization.
It's a perfect place for us. We're basically just wanting to be left alone.
Oh man, but the truth couldn't be any more different. We're talking about that $500,000 lawsuit against Billy Brown, rape allegations against Matt Brown, a toxic family implosion, and even rumors of a supernatural curse. It wasn't just a show, it was marketed as a manifesto.
What I do when I go fishing is I basically just act like a really fast bear.
A rejection of modern excess in favor of primal living.
It's Mr. Cupcake.
What?
What happened?
What about him,
honey?
Viewers didn't just watch them, they believed. They cried with the Browns. They rooted for them. They saw them as modern pioneers. Millions bought into it. But what were they really watching? A $2.7 million lie.
This is my place?
This is where you sleep?
Yes.
A wilderness fairy tale filmed in rented cabins, scripted by producers, and anchored by a family that never actually lived the life that they preached.
I'd never cheat Alaska.
It wasn't survival, it was a spectacle. And what started as a docuseries became one of the most audacious scams in reality TV history.
When we first got him, it was very special because we didn't know if we were getting a doll.
But here's the thing, every bit of it was fake. The Browns weren't just surviving in the wild, they were spending nights in hotels. Yeah, they were living in a $2.7 million California mansion, and they were scamming the system for state benefits.
Along in rugged rural Alaska without electricity or modern technology. So when it came time to shoot, producers asked the Browns to live that way for the cameras, and they pretended to do so.
The off-grid fantasy was scripted, the drama was manufactured, and as the truth started leaking out, the empire crumbled. Discovery didn't just film it, they fueled it. They knew the truth and ran with the lie, because ratings were gold, and the bush was cheap to fake. It was survival theater, and everybody was the audience. What followed was a storm of scandals. By the time Alaskan Bush People reached its final season, it had turned into a soap opera of legal battles, personal meltdowns, and public betrayals. They didn't just lose the plot, they nuked the damn thing from orbit. And Discovery knew it, the fans knew it, and the ratings proved it. So, what exactly happened? How did the biggest survival reality show turn into a cautionary tale? Let's break it down.
Here. Warning, warning. If creature comes at you, pull back your head immediately lest you lose part of face.
For years, we were told the Browns lived in the wild, off the grid, surviving with nothing but their wits and their bush sense.
This is what I learned as a kid. If you massage their gums, they tend to go into a trance.
The sanctuary is awesome, but
A self-built cabin deep in the Alaskan wilds. No electricity, no running water, just grit, love, and good old bush know-how. Or, so they claimed. Turns out it was all just an act. The Browns were more Beverly Hills than Bush, and the receipts don't just prove it, they bury it. Locals and Huna spotted the Browns regularly staying at hotels while filming their hardcore wilderness life. Not just for emergencies or town runs, mind you, like entire production seasons spent cozy under hotel duvets. And here's the kicker. There are allegations that they never actually lived in Browntown full-time at all. That iconic cabin, more of a prop than a home. Some even claim it was built by production crews, not the Browns themselves. But it gets even better. By the time season 10 rolled around, they weren't even pretending anymore. The family had reportedly relocated to a sprawling $2.7 million mansion in Beverly Hills adjacent California. Yeah, you heard that right, buddy. We went from bush life to a gated driveway and manicured lawn realness. See, these guys were roughing it in a way that required, central air, marble countertops, and probably, Postmates. Fans were pissed. What started as a survival series turned into a live-action LARP session where the only thing wild was the amount of flying. Kinda gives LARPing a bad name, because let's be real, running through the forest pretending to be a halfling werewolf under a full moon? Epic AF. This show? Not so much. Okay, they never lived there full time. It's a film set. They were in a hotel when we saw them. The show is fake as hell. Wait, they own a mansion? Even former crew members whispered the truth. One allegedly said, "We spent more time charging camera batteries than they did chopping wood." Oof. Viewership plummeted. Season 1 had 4.2 million viewers. By season 14, just 1.5 million. One fan commented, "They're as bush as a Beverly Hills condo. Alaskan Bush People is a fraud fest with pine-scented lies and Hollywood production budgets." Hey, pine is my favorite scent of car air freshener. Billy Brown wasn't just the leader of the family, he was the myth-maker-in-chief, the bearded patriarch, the voiceover goldmine of Discovery's off-grid fantasy. But long before he died, his health and his story were already falling apart.
Hey everyone, just wanted to keep you posted. My dad's still having some major medical issues. In fact, he got out of surgery just the other day, but he has a lot more tests to do, so we're still in town.
Still skeptical he'll go back to the mountain.
I got 2 doctors that said there's no way.
In 2019, Billy was hospitalized with serious respiratory issues. It wasn't just a scare, it was the beginning of the end. The man who had once chopped trees and lectured about bush survival was now struggling to breathe at sea level. Discovery pivoted fast. Episodes started to center around his declining health, turning a dying man into the show's final emotional arc. And fans were hooked. Well, by 2021, the inevitable happened. Billy died from a seizure at age 68. The tributes rolled in.
Midday, when I got a message from Mom saying that Dad had a really bad seizure and that something was really wrong and that we needed to be there. When we arrived, the paramedics were there, and then Dad was on the floor, and they were trying to resuscitate him and keep his heart going. It was just a waiting game for a while, and then the decision to bring in a helicopter came in, and that's when I guess we thought it would be okay.
Discovery aired teary montages and silent drone shots over Browntown. But nobody mentioned the ticking time bomb he left behind, a $500,000 lawsuit. Filed just weeks after his death, the suit came from an investor who claimed Billy promised him a cut of the show's profits in exchange for early funding, and then disappeared. What he got wasn't profit, it was silence. Oh, and this wasn't Billy's first dance with fraud. In 2014, he and Amy were convicted of PFD fraud, illegally claiming over $21,000 from the state of Alaska. That's right, the Bush icon was also a benefit scammer. The pleas stem from allegations that family members had milked the state's permanent fund out of more than $20,000 by claiming in applications from 2009 to 2012 that they met residency requirements when they didn't, according to the Juneau Empire. Well, after his death, the illusion collapsed. Amy was left holding the lawsuit. The estate was a mess, Discovery went radio silent, and fans were forced to ask, had this all been a lie from the start? Yeah. And fan rage was obvious. So while he was dying, they were still filming like nothing was wrong. This man scammed Alaska and an investor? We mourned a myth. Turns out it was just marketing. Yeah, Billy Brown didn't just pass away, he passed down court cases, shattered trust, and a legacy that collapsed the second the credits rolled. Billy Brown didn't leave behind a Bush legacy, he left behind a courtroom circus, broken promises, and a script Discovery could never rewrite fast enough. Matt Brown, the eldest son and once the presumed heir of the family throne, vanished from Alaskan Bush People in 2016. The official story? Rehab for alcohol abuse. But in 2020, the real reason caught up with him in a headline-grabbing collapse. 2 women came forward with rape allegations against him. No charges were filed, but the accusations alone detonated any remaining goodwill around Matt and, by extension, the show. Discovery hit panic mode. Matt was scrubbed from promos, edited out of reruns, and silently exiled. Bear Brown coldly posted in 2024.
Hey guys, so I've been getting a ton of questions about Matt across all my social media platforms. A lot of comments, a lot of questions. I can barely turn my head or read a comment without Matt popping up and people asking about him. I understand y'all concern and stuff, and I understand that y'all are very used to us keeping everyone up to date on what's going on with everything, that we film a reality show for coming on 11 years, and that we keep y'all guys up to date on social media. But I would ask you to please be respectful for things that we would like to keep private. Everything with Matt is a very painful thing. It is not something that is, it's not something that I want to talk about. It's not something that I want to address. So I would say this though, Matt is doing good. He's doing much better than he was doing, and he doesn't want to associate with the family these days. So I would ask y'all to please be respectful and stop leaving so many comments about Matt all over my platforms and with all the comments. Okay, guys, I appreciate y'all's support. Y'all guys are awesome as always, but please, can we slack off on the Matt comments? Thank you very much, and God bless.
Just a social media shrug as their eldest son got digitally vanished. Some more fan reactions. If he's innocent, why erase him? They're hiding something. Feels like they've done this before, swept it under the rug and act wholesome. And then came the plot twist. Earlier in 2021, Matt broke his silence in a series of deeply unsettling Instagram videos. In them, he accused Billy Brown, his father and the supposed moral compass of the family, of manipulation, financial abuse, and keeping him broke on purpose. According to Matt, the family was never as united as the camera suggested, and his exile wasn't just about scandal, it was about control. He claimed he was forced out, cut off from family earnings, and left to deal with addiction and trauma alone while the rest of the Browns played wholesome bush life for the cameras. He said he had no access to the show's profits, even though he helped launch it. Now suddenly, this wasn't just Matt's dark spiral, it was a reckoning from the entire family mythos. The guy who was once portrayed as the goofy, endearing big brother had become the show's biggest liability and its biggest threat. Naturally, fans had some speculation. Did Discovery pay him off to stay quiet? Was Matt telling the truth about the money and manipulation? Is there even a family anymore, or is it just a brand? Well, as you can imagine, the fallout was pretty massive. Whatever you believe about the allegations, one thing was clear. The family buried this scandal fast, and Discovery helped them do it. The silence was louder than any denial, and viewers weren't just mad, they were done. Matt's scandal didn't just stain his name, it took a wrecking ball to the Browns' whole off-grid fairy tale. We're talking, oops, all fraud, levels of damage, and a cover-up that only made things worse.
I think what's going on now is the most difficult thing we've ever gone through because of who it's happening to.
Amy was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2017 and was only given a 3% chance of survival. It was framed as the ultimate battle of human strength versus the unknown.
Not putting society or people down. I think that they rely too much on medicines. You hear the list of side effects. It gives you more things than the one little thing you're trying to battle.
Discovery turned it into a must-watch tragedy porn.
She was drowned in sorrow. Everyone had their eyes on how she would be doing after Billy's death, who was the head of the family. Following Billy's passing, Amy took on the reins of managing the ranch and caring for the animals.
Every episode dripped with slow music, whispered prayers, and lingering camera shots of a family in crisis. Meanwhile, as anybody who's ever suffered through that with a family member can tell you, you just want peace, not drama. But, fans started to question just how much of it was real, and how much was an edit room symphony designed to squeeze tears and spike ratings. It wasn't long before Reddit threads and Twitter timelines lit up with theories that Amy's diagnosis, while serious, was heavily dramatized or at worst, strategically exaggerated. Naturally, speculation continued. Was the cancer real or just really convenient for ratings? It felt like they weaponized Amy's pain. How come she was terminal and then suddenly fine? Well, after Billy's death in 2021, the real drama kicked in. Amy didn't just mourn, she inherited a legal and financial bombshell, and that thing was still alive. The $500K lawsuit against Billy's estate landed squarely in her lap. She went from on-screen survivor to off-screen defendant, and that's when things got ugly. In 2024, her own son Noah publicly accused her of lying. Now, the details were vague, but the betrayal was loud. Fans speculated that she was hiding money, manipulating the estate, and maybe even rewriting the Brown family history in her favor. Some even believed that she was trying to control the family brand post-Billy. So, naturally, some fans had some theories. Amy's hoarding the money and playing innocent. She's covering for Billy's shady past. She's the real power now, and it's going to her head. Amy had once been the emotional heart of the show. Now she was at the center of whispers, accusations, and cold silences. Whatever truth there was, nobody could hear it over the sound of lawyers, social media wars, and buried secrets. Let's not pretend this was all the Browns. Behind every fake hunt and emotional breakdown was a production crew paid by Discovery Channel.
Yeah, let's try to stay out of the water. So you go left here, I'll go right. Good.
Yeah, meet in the middle. Good.
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
One.
Was like hunting is definitely one of the most important things to surviving in the bush. Dad's the one that taught me that. He's where
While the Browns were pretending to live off of fish and firewood, Discovery was eating off syndication deals, reruns, and DVD sales. They didn't just know the truth, they produced the damn thing. When Matt disappeared, Discovery stayed silent. When lawsuits hit the estate, silence. When Billy was caught scamming the government, you guessed it, Silencio Bruno. This was not a documentary, it was a franchise. And Discovery had no interest in losing their golden goose, no matter how cooked it got. Crew members have anonymously claimed that scenes were reshot, lines were fed, and entire episodes were structured to match Discovery's survival drama formula. The reality of Alaskan Bush People was as carefully manicured as their California mansion's lawn. Discovery didn't just document the downfall, they directed it.
I better go ahead and head down and let everybody else know that we do have fire in the area. That's not good! That's not good! Guys!
As Bear alerts the wolf pack, the flames quickly spread.
Oh, I see flames.
Damn.
Growing by the second and forcing an emergency evacuation.
Bird, let's go.
We've been warned about wildfires, we've been taking precautions, but I never thought for a second that one would spark up so fast and so intense.
Oh, hell.
This is insane. The entire mountain is going up. I'm extremely concerned that it would take out the entire mountain. We've built up a lot of things that are necessities on the ranch. We built up the ostrich pen, we built up the barn.
In 2020, nature itself seemed to file its final review of Alaskan Bush People.
And now we don't even know if it's still there. It's just devastating. They're kind of
A wildfire tore through the Browns' $1.6 million ranch, reducing their so-called Bush Kingdom to ashes. Fans online didn't mourn, they mocked. Nature said nope, one viral tweet read. Another declared that fire had more integrity than the last 5 seasons. It wasn't just fire, it was poetic justice. But the inferno was just the spark. What followed was a disaster parade worthy of a Greek tragedy. If the Greeks had, discovery contracts.
Feels weird being on this side.
I was gonna say, it feels like I should be the one, taking care of everybody.
That's how I felt, because I do it for others. I don't receive it, though. It was so hard for me, and I know you dislike that, too.
Bird Brown's tumor scare hit headlines in 2023. Amy was dragged into courtrooms to face down creditors and accusations. Bear Brown's relationship imploded again, complete with custody drama, restraining orders, and TikTok meltdowns. The show had gone from survival saga to daytime soap opera, only with more camouflage. Alaskan Bush People had become less man versus wild and more family versus court dates. But let's be real, if we wanted to see that, we'd just watch more paternity court. Now, naturally, fans weighed in with some reactions. This is Jerry Springer in the trees. They're surviving child support, not the wild. This isn't wilderness, it's witness protection with better lighting. The so-called curse wasn't mystical, it was painfully literal. Lawsuits, betrayal, social media drama, medical crises. It was as if every plot twist had its own lawyer. Even longtime viewers were done. Reddit threads with titles like "The Curse is Real" and "This Show Needs to End" flooded the forums. By season 14, the show was limping across the finish line, hemorrhaging viewers, plot coherence, and whatever shred of dignity it had left. Man, even Discovery seemed over it. Promotions dried up, schedules changed, and the Browns were quietly phased out like an old office printer. The fire was just the beginning. It didn't destroy the Browns, it revealed them. Alaskan Bush People didn't go down in flames, it burned long, slow, and embarrassingly bright for everybody to see. The smell also didn't help either. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button like it's a fake Browntown log cabin. We cover scandals so wild they make this show look like a Hallmark movie. So make sure you hit that bell, drop a comment, and let us know which reality show caused you the most trust issues. Oh, and if you were bamboozled by Browntown, don't worry, we're starting a support group. And let's not forget the masterminds behind the curtain, Discovery Channel. They didn't just film this mess, they produced it. They knew what was fake, they edited it anyway. They weren't just complicit, they were collaborators. Ratings were gold, and truth, well, that was optional. At its peak, Alaskan Bush People was a phenomenon. It captivated audiences with the promise of a family living life on their own terms, pushing against the grain of modern society. But in the end, it wasn't about survival, it was about deception. From luxury homes to legal troubles, from fake struggles to real scandals, the illusion crumbled under the weight of its own lies. Discovery didn't just ride the lie, they produced it. Every staged stunt, every emotion-wringing health crisis, every supposedly spontaneous family feud. What started as a love letter to wilderness became an expose of what happens when networks sell fiction and call it documentary. The downfall of Alaskan Bush People wasn't just about a failing TV show. It was about what happens when reality TV loses its grip on reality. The ratings dropped, the scandals grew, and in the end, Discovery had no choice but to let it burn. They promised the wild. Instead, they delivered lawsuits, betrayals, and scripted bush drama. And now, Alaskan Bush People isn't just canceled, it's a case study in how reality TV fakes it till it breaks it. They didn't survive the wild, they didn't survive each other, and now they're not even surviving syndication. They went from Bush legends to Bush frauds faster than you can say Discovery Channel legal team. I mean, who needs wilderness when you've got a mansion, a scandal, and a reality TV empire in flames? Gabe retreated into silence. Bam disappeared entirely. Snowbird said nothing. Maybe they escaped the spotlight, or maybe they just learned how to stay off the grid for real this time. Matt remains exiled in California, occasionally posting cryptic messages and battling sobriety. Amy's juggling legal chaos and family fractures. Bear's Instagram is a rotating door of emotional breakdowns and shirtless selfies. Noah's still out there calling out family secrets. Discovery's deleted most of their old promos, and Browntown burned, ghosted, gone. It turns out the biggest threat to the Browns wasn't the wild, it was Wi-Fi, a courtroom, and a long memory on the internet. They went off grid and off the rails.